Hi, welcome to the STAIR Tailored. I'm Sarah Powell from the University of Texas at Austin, and right now we're focusing on subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, and we are going to use the length model. Now, the length model of fractions means that we can show fractions according to their length. So the model that we're going to use today are the fraction tiles. You can also show this on number lines, and the Cuisenaire rods are also a very good length model to use. And we're going to solve this problem right here, 7/8 minus 1/4. So let's see what this looks like with manipulatives. So when I'm working with manipulatives, I always want to have my abstract form of the number written out. So I've done that already on my note. And I'm going to show the fraction 7/8, and then I want to take away 1/4 from that 7/8. And there's a few ways that we can do this, and I'll model a few different ways here today. All right, so I've got my 7 1/8 pieces, and notice how they are lined up against the whole, so I can see the value of 7/8 where it falls on a number line from 0 to 1. Now I want to take away 1/4, all right? So for my reference, this is what I want to take away. I want to take away 1/4. Now, one of the ways that you can do this, and it works in this example because I have common denominators that are related, 4 is related to 8 very easily. So what I could do is I could see, well, 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8, and I could take away those 2 1/8 parts. But it's not always that easy. For example, what if this denominator needs to change and this denominator needs to change? So that's where we end up using our least common multiple between these two fractions. So I'm going to list out the multiples for a fraction with a denominator of 8. And I always mess them up, doing this in real time puts a lot of pressure on me. And then we have 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. Now the least common multiple that I see between these two fractions is 8. So here I already have a denominator of 8, so I don't need to do anything. But here with 1/4, I want to get that to where I have a denominator of 8. That means I need to take that 1/4 piece and divide it into 2 1/8 parts. And what I can do is I can take my 2 1/8 parts and put those right on top, just like that. Now this works when you only have to change one denominator, like in our example. This also works when we have to change both denominators. So now for my reference, I need to take away 2 of the 1/8 pieces. I'm not going to touch this reference set at all, but I'm going to move up here to my 7/8 and I'm going to take away or subtract 2 of the 1/8 pieces. So when I have 7/8 and I subtract 1/4, my difference is 5/8. And if I wanted to write this where I had the common denominators, I could go ahead and do that now to really emphasize that we were subtracting the parts of the fraction and the denominator stayed the same. So that was an example of how we use the length model of fractions to subtract. And I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you'll tune into some of our other STAIR Tailoreds.